DeepSeek just released a completely free OCR model that's crushing everything else on the market, and it's doing something wild. Instead of reading text as text, it turns your documents into compressed visual tokens and processes 1,000 words using just 100 tokens. That's a 10-to-1 compression ratio while keeping 97% accuracy. Plus, it's fully open source and already blowing up with over 8,000 GitHub stars in less than 24 hours. But that's not the only thing happening. OpenAI quietly updated ChatGPT with a new memory system that learns your preferences across conversations. Anthropic released a dataset showing exactly how Claude gets jailbroken, and a startup called Vercel just launched an AI that can build full-stack applications from a single screenshot. So let's break down what actually matters here. Starting with DeepSeek OCR, because this thing is genuinely impressive. The core innovation is treating text like an image problem instead of a language problem. Most OCR systems tokenize every word, every character, every space. That racks up costs fast when you're dealing with massive documents. DeepSeek flips the script. It renders the page as an image, runs it through a vision encoder, and spits out about 100 visual tokens per page. Those tokens carry almost all the information from the original text, but use a fraction of the processing power. The numbers here are actually insane. A single NVIDIA A100 GPU can chew through 200,000 pages per day with this system. That's the kind of throughput that makes enterprise teams sit up and pay attention. Whether you're building training datasets, running compliance checks, or managing document archives, that speed matters. And here's the kicker. It's available right now on Hugging Face and GitHub with full code, PDF tools, and optimization guides. The architecture uses about 3 billion parameters total, but it's smart about activation. Only around 570 million parameters are active at any given time thanks to a mixture of experts' design. That keeps the compute costs reasonable while still giving you serious capability. The encoder itself sits at about 380 million parameters and handles the heavy lifting of turning pages into those compact visual tokens. Benchmarks show where this really shines. On OmniDoc Bench, DeepSeek uses roughly 100 vision tokens per page. Google OCR needs about 256. Miniature models can hit over 6,000 tokens for dense documents. DeepSeek stays under 800 even for complex layouts. That translates to 61% fewer tokens than Google, and 87% fewer than some competitors. Real savings that actually show up in your API bills. Training data is extensive too. 30 million PDF pages across 100 languages. 25 million of those pages are in Chinese and English. But they also threw in 10 million synthetic diagrams, 5 million chemical formulas, and 1 million geometric figures. So this isn't just good at reading plain text. It handles equations, charts, technical drawings, and complex layouts without falling apart. The output flexibility is also worth mentioning. You can preserve original formatting, extract plain text, or generate image descriptions depending on what you need. That makes it easier to plug into existing workflows without rebuilding everything from scratch. Andrei Karpathy weighed in, calling it a smart move. By treating text as visual input, you sidestep a ton of edge cases. No weird Unicode issues, no encoding headaches, fewer security vulnerabilities. The LLM just sees pictures and processes them. Now let's talk about ChatGPT's new memory update, because this changes how the system actually works. OpenAI rolled out persistent memory that spans conversations. The AI now remembers your preferences, your writing style, even specific details you've mentioned before. It's not just looking at the current chat anymore. It's building a profile over time. This sounds small, but it's actually a big shift. If you tell ChatGPT once that you prefer Python over JavaScript, it remembers. If you mention you're working on a specific project, it keeps that context for future sessions. The system is learning your patterns and adapting without you having to repeat yourself constantly. Privacy controls are built in so you can view, edit, or delete what it remembers. But the default behavior now is retention, not amnesia. The implications here are interesting. This moves ChatGPT closer to being a true assistant, rather than a stateless chatbot. Each interaction builds on previous ones. That makes it more useful for ongoing work, but it also means you need to be more conscious about what information you're sharing. The line between helpful personalization and creepy surveillance is thinner than it looks. Over at Anthropic, they just published a jailbreak dataset showing exactly How people try to break Claude. This is transparency at a level we rarely see. The dataset includes thousands of attempts to bypass Claude's safety guidelines. Prompt injections, role-play scenarios, encoded instructions, all the tricks people use to make AI systems behave badly. And Anthropic is just handing it over to researchers. Why does this matter? Because defense requires understanding offense. By making these techniques public, Anthropic is helping the entire field build better guardrails. Other AI companies can study these patterns and strengthen their own systems. Researchers can develop new defense mechanisms. And users get insight into how these systems can be manipulated. It's a bold move that prioritizes collective security over competitive advantage. Vercel's new AI tool is taking a different approach to the coding assistant space. Instead of chat-based help, it generates full applications from screenshots. You show it a design, it builds the front end, the back end, the database schema, the API routes, everything. The generated code uses React, Next.js, and TypeScript by default, but you can customize the stack. The tool isn't trying to replace developers, it's compressing the grunt work. Instead of spending hours scaffolding a project and wiring up basic CRUD operations, you get a working prototype in minutes. Then you refine, customize, and extend it. For rapid prototyping and MVP development, this could be genuinely useful. The code quality is apparently solid too. Not just functional, but actually readable and maintainable. What ties all of this together is a common thread. AI tools are getting more specialized, more powerful, and weirdly more accessible all at once. DeepSeek's OCR compresses information in ways that seemed impossible 2 years ago. ChatGPT's memory makes interactions feel more natural. Anthropic's transparency strengthens the entire ecosystem. And Vercel's tool turns mock-ups into working code. The pace right now is relentless. These aren't incremental updates. They're fundamental shifts in what's possible and what's practical. And the best part? Most of these tools are either free or getting cheaper by the month. That democratization is going to unlock creativity and productivity in ways we're just starting to understand. If you're building anything with AI right now, these are the kinds of developments that actually move the needle. Not hype. Not promises, but shipping code and real capabilities you can use today. That's where we are. That's what matters. And that's the update. Thanks for watching out. See you in the next one.